Soccer 605 here with Brian Pederson, the new head coach at the Roosevelt Boys program. Looks like you're breaking the Colts pretty good here, Coach.
Well, we're doing our best here. Coming in, we have a pretty heavy workload this week and the following 2 weeks, and so far the response has been really good from our players.
It's got to be almost like a dream for you to go out in the big soccer, well, to come out of Sioux Falls and Roosevelt, go out in the bigger soccer world, and then come back here and land that job back at your home school. That's got to be something that kids dream of.
I am so thankful, to be part of Roosevelt and the coaching staff and to be home. I'm in love with Sioux Falls and South Dakota in general, so to come back and, do everything I can to contribute with those around me, I couldn't be happier and more thankful.
Since you were here as a young guy in high school, the game of soccer has changed a lot, especially the high school soccer. So what are you thinking about the progress we've made since you've been gone?
There have been a lot of changes. First, some things have stayed the same. We still have a lot of people who have worked really hard to trailblaze and to put us where we're at today in Sioux Falls and in South Dakota in general. As far as the way the game has changed, I think we're seeing more sophisticated soccer. We're seeing players at a younger age, understand tactics and have a better technical foundation. And it's more competitive now. The club soccer scene has grown quite a bit. We've consolidated some of the smaller clubs and really made a stronger club with Dakota Alliance. The West River clubs have gotten a lot better. So overall, seeing the coaches and the players and the progress we've made has been great. It puts us competitive at the regional level now.
Well, and before we get too far into this, I would really, because there's going to be a lot of people watching this who don't really know, who you are. So why don't you give us a synopsis of your soccer career, and let's go ahead and start right back here, because you were around when Dakota Gold started as a club.
Yeah, I grew up here. I played in the fall season. We had an advanced league and a rec league, and I was able to play, the fall season there. And then the club team would start training in the off season. We'd go to Augustana and play indoor. And then spring ball hit, and, I played, we'd go do 10 tournaments over the summer and then do ODP and rest and repeat. And then you had the high school season when you got older. And so I was able to play here at Roosevelt for 4 years. Had some great coaches. We had Chris Peters at the time. My brother Jason coached my last year. And then upon graduating, I was able to go to college in West Virginia. Played at Salem International University and had a great experience there. And then when I graduated from college, I went on the pro circuit. I did tryouts. I got brought into teams. I had a lot of no's. And eventually I got a yes. And I landed in Minnesota with the Thunder, had a chance to spend some time in Cincinnati, went to Romania and had a stint over there in Europe, and then came back to Minnesota again and finished my career there. And when I was doing that, we coached in the off season. I was able to kind of go from a coach to a director. Eventually I was running the youth development for Minnesota Thunder. Then I went to Austin, Texas, and did the same thing. Then the ownership group from Austin went to Orlando, and I was able to start from scratch and build the youth infrastructure with Orlando City Youth Soccer. So I've learned a lot of things the hard way, but I never gave up. I've stayed resilient, and I'm trying to take those things back now. I'm real thankful coming back. I have a different perspective, and it's been good.
I would think especially at the coaching level, but even more particularly at an administrator level, to know and remember what it was like to have the joy of the game when you were a kid and have that be the foundation when you build your programs has to make a huge difference down the road for those players.
It really does. One thing I've learned, going through the college and pro system is on the field, giving 100% enthusiasm and attitude every single day. Not letting it drop off just because in the beginning you're excited and then it kind of plateaus, giving everything you have every day on the field. What backs that are the resources and time you spend, off the field. Make sure you're organized administratively, make sure the resources are being applied the right way. And so a lot of that takes work. And funny enough, I always tell people it's probably more important to be a very good administrator who knows the game well than just to say I'm a good coach. If you combine the two, then you have a chance to maybe have a full-time career in the game. So I don't underestimate the administrative side. I've had to learn to do that along the way as well.
Well, it's kind of a necessary evil, but the big thing is that, and I try to see this every place I go, is how much fun are the kids having, because that's really what it boils down to anyway.
Well, yeah, that's what gives them the passion. If we can help them fall in love with the game, it helps them to want to self-teach. It helps them to want to push that next level. And at times you make the coaching implicit. Good coaches can get them on the field, get them playing, come in at the right times and make coaching points, let it go a little bit when it's the right time. And if we get it right, they'll have that love that would carry it. So off the field, they'll get extra training in. They'll want to get to that next level, and when they move on from the game, they'll get back involved, whether it's men's league playing or when their kids come through or working camps. So we certainly think that's an important part of it. So you have the fun, goof-off fun, and then we try to teach them the fun that you get when you become better at the game. It's fun to improve. It's fun to be consistent. It's fun to be able to do something later on that you couldn't do beforehand. And so we try to be pretty well-rounded that way.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And, speaking of those players who love the game, we talked a little bit earlier with three of your leader, Isaiah Bauer, Brennan Schmidt, Taylor Moyer, three guys who are very clearly committed and leading your team. But they aren't the only three in this team. You got a lot of really dedicated guys. You can see that, I'm sure, already.
Yeah, we do. We have probably 20 or 30 guys that committed to a summer off-season program. Coming in, we can tell who we're building the team around, but we have a lot of other guys that are contributing. They're buying into the system. They're taking in the information very well. And, we feel that if they continue to do that, we're going to have a really strong unit. We got a ton of work to do still, but we do have other players stepping up in different ways, and to see that's really, really good. They help carry the ship.
Back when I had the pleasure of coaching, one of the things I always told the guys who didn't start all the time, your role is even more important because you're the ones that have to put pressure on these guys every day, day in and day out, to make them get better. Yeah,
and we're still working on what our starting 11 would be. What our 11 to 14 is going to look like, 14 to 18, and it's pretty fluid right now. We feel that we can be deep in every position. Now it's kind of getting it aligned with who goes where, who's a better starter, who's better coming off the bench. But it is competitive. We did not name varsity or sub-varsity after tryouts. We kept the group together and said we feel like we need a little bit more time to name the group, which we'll probably do next week, Tuesday or Thursday, as well as naming a captain or a captain and a co-captain. It's kept them hungry, it's kept them humble, and they haven't dropped their level with that effort and enthusiasm, and that's really all we can ask for at this point.
Well, and they need to have that humility, because every place they go this year, they're going to have a target on their back. They were, through most of the season last year, the top-rated team that scored the most goals, in and out every game, very good. But I think these guys can handle that pressure.
I think they can, and we're focusing on our standard. It doesn't really matter, what team we're playing, what league we're in. We're going to respect the opponents. We're going to prepare for the year-end tournament. But we're really going to rate ourselves on how well we're doing within the game plan, how we're staying together as a group. And if we're doing what we ask, we feel that we can be a strong team. But we're going to have that barometer set solely on how we perform and what we're capable of, rather than the opponent or the tournament situation that we may be in.
Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing that, and I see it manifested already in the little bit of training I've seen you have. Well, Coach Pederson, I'm really glad they got you on board here. I think you're going to do a great job here. I can see that already, and thanks for hanging out with us, Soccer 605. We can't wait to have you back on again.
Yeah, thank you.